We'll start the session. We'll start the session. Please sit up straight with your back, neck, and head in a straight line. Om. Sahana bhavatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya yatonmayaditaratasch Artheshvabhigyam Swarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yat Surayah Tejo Varimridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastakuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Satchidanandarupaya Vishvohotpatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Tato Jayamudiraye. Hari Om. There's nobody on video, only I am there. Is there any, are you all able to hear any disturbance? No? Okay. There's a djembe class going on. So I was wondering if you all were hearing. Okay. I'll just share the screen.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Yeah. So here's where the Lord is showing his form. Yes, let's move on. Now, Bali keeps his promise. We'll just start reading from here. The Lord looked at Bali, who was now a captive, who had lost all he had because he would not swerve from truth. And Narayana said, "You are the king of the Asuras, and you promised me ground, which will be covered by 3 paces measured by my foot. 2 of them, as you have seen, have been covered and they are mine. There is still 1 place left. Where will I place my foot? Tell me. You have not kept your word, and you know what the punishment is for one who speaks an untruth. You will have to be pushed into the netherworld. Your guru has already told you that." Bali was neither frightened nor hurt by the words of Vamana. He smiled and said, Lord, I do not consider my words to be lies. There is still place for your third pace. Please be gracious enough to place your foot on my head. I am not afraid of Naraka, but I am afraid of being called a sinner. I am not afraid of these bonds which have tied me up. I am not afraid of poverty and eternal sorrow, punishment which is meted out to a man by one who is dear to him. Dear, like a mother, a brother, a father, or well-wisher, is indeed a blessing. In the eyes of the world, you are supposed to have punished me for my pride and my arrogance, but in reality, you have blessed me. You have opened my inner eye, the eye of wisdom, and you are a friend of the Asuras and not their enemy. So these last lines, he says, you have opened the inner eye, the eye of wisdom. Just a few moments back, he was telling, this is mine. I have so much. I can give you anything. He said that to Vamana. All this is mine, that mine. That mine is a sign of that ego. As though I possess everything. Jaya Vijaya also fell because of this I, me, mine. What did they say? When Jaya Vijaya, they are the protectors of, they were the Dwarapalakas to Lord Vishnu. And when the Sanat Kumaras come there, they do not allow Sanat Kumaras to go. Sanat Kumaras say, we always have access to the Lord. This is a boon we have got from the Lord. You cannot stop us. And then the Dwarapalaka says, we are his protector. We are here to protect the Lord, and how can we let you go? How can Jaya and Vijaya be the protectors of the Lord? That moment, that little ahankara, they thought what they were doing, they were the Dwarapalakas, but they thought they were protecting the Lord when the Lord is actually the one who is protecting everybody. That slight slip where that ahankara that came in, and they had to take the form of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna. Just a moment back, when Vamana came and said, oh, I don't want much, I just want 3 paces. He said, no, ask for more. All this is mine. I have so much. That is what the Ishavasya Upanishad says. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitah magridaha kasyasvid dhanam. Everything is pervaded by him. And hence, in that sense, nothing is ours. So, tena tyaktena, you have to do a tyaga. That is, you have to be detached from everything. Vairagya. Do not unnecessarily hoard or possess what is somebody else's. Who is that somebody else? It is the Lord. When you say this is mine, we are saying we are actually not recognizing that everything is in him. I am nothing, I have nothing, I do nothing. Whatever I am only because of you. I am just this reflected consciousness like the moon which has borrowed the consciousness from the supreme reality, because of which I am even functioning in this world. But now it is like the moon saying, all this light, I am the light giver. Forgetting that the original light giver is something else, the sun. So owning everything. So, and that opening of that inner eye, in just a moment it happened when Narayana, Shukacharya tells him, no, don't give it. He is Narayana who has come. The moment he knows that Narayana has come there, his mind has shifted from the outward possession to the inner, from the pravritti marga to the nivritti marga. Pravritti is outward looking. Nivritti is inward looking. Turning to the self, the higher self. That is all we need to do at all point in time. Move our gaze from the outward to the inward self. We are always caught with that smaller self, S-wala self, the ego. But there is a higher self with a capital S within. Not exactly. I mean, I hope we are we have all been here for a while now. So, right, there is the capital. There is the supreme reality in there, and we are caught with our smaller reality as though we are the ones doing everything. I am the doer. I own these things. Everything is mine. So that inner eye, the eye of wisdom, and you are a friend of the asuras from outside, it may look like a punishment. This is what it is very typically those people who are looking outwards will say, oh, Bali's pride and arrogance was taken away. But Bali's pride and arrogance was taken away by whom? By Narayana himself. That is what Ramana Maharishi always says. Okay, there is pride and arrogance. In whom? In I. The moment you turn that way and look inwards, the pride and arrogance has fallen. It goes away. Because there is a surrender. The ego dissolves. When we accept the supreme reality. I think this is where we stopped last time. But we had a lot of other talks in the meanwhile.
So just something's coming up for me. One thing very beautiful is, please be gracious enough to place your foot in my head. That that the surrendering attitude of Bali, of course, is very beautiful in that. And also one thing which came up here is also the aspect of fearlessness. The fearlessness is in this sentence where it is written, I'm not afraid of these bonds which have tied me up. I'm not afraid of poverty and eternal sorrow. I'm not afraid of what people are going to tell about whether I was proud or I was arrogant or anything. And I'm not even afraid of anything. No, that fearlessness is something which is actually a very beautiful divine quality. And that is what Bali here gives us, that beautiful lesson, that many times what happens is a fear that if I do this, I might end up in sorrow. I might end up with not having some things. I might have, I might be very uncomfortable. I might be in pain. I might be this. A lot of that fear aspects of the uncertainty is there. What will happen, of the fear of the future, fear that I might go into this state, I might be misunderstood. Many times the fear is I might be misunderstood. And in that way, like Raghuramji says, it prevents us from taking the right dharmic actions, right? But some conscience inside is telling us to do this and this. But the fear that, no, what will others say? I might be misunderstood by those people, right? And here they will think like this. Then what will happen? I have to sit and justify to them. I can't do that. So here, it's a beautiful, what here Bali is showing is, it's him and the Lord, and that's it, nobody else. That is it is that beautiful connection there, where nothing else is, it's a defocused, actually. When we have in a yoga practice also, we call it Jyoti Trataka, we gaze at the flame. And first is the focusing of the flame. That is a constant japa of the, or constant one-pointedness at the flame in Jyoti Trataka. A point comes when we say as instruction, that is, you are now, rather than pointing, looking at the flame, at the wick of the flame, you're defocusing. And when the defocus happens, actually, it is a defocus where that flame actually, it actually feels as if it is coming within you. The defocus is that, and everything else actually blurs. And that is a very beautiful aspect here, where you are in the world, but everything else is blurred, where you are not worried about what will others think. Will they think I'm proud? Will they think I'll get this? Will they think nothing? No chatter in the mind regarding those things, which is stopping us. Here it is between Bali and the divine, that is the person and the flame. And that is that beautiful connection where we see that Bali, when that connection happens, obviously it opens the inner eye of wisdom, right? The inner eye of wisdom, where Raghuramji says, where intellect beautifully blends with the bhavana, that so bhakti rises. It's and always Raghuramji always says, right, the bhakti is the janani, right? The bhakti is the love. So yeah, I have that very, very beautiful what he says. No, love is a janani of bhakti. Bhakti is a janani of God, and you are born with love. I have Raghuramji's one quote that's with me, and that is the beautiful aspect here is that Bali's utmost love and connection with Bhagavan. In between, he lost his way by saying that I am the doer, I have this. But you know what? Beautifully, he has come back. Beautifully, he has come back. And then again, is that love filling him to the brim where he totally feels that I'm gracious enough that you place your foot on my head. Right? And I don't bother whether it is heaven or hell. Like Raghuramji says, it is not about the altitude, that is the heaven or the hell, it is our attitude. And here you can observe the attitude of Bali here, where he doesn't even bother whether I'm going to Patala or I'm going to go up, whether I'm going to be in pleasure, sensual pleasures, or I'm going to be rotting in hell. It's not about his worry at all. For him, that's it, is connection with the divine. And that is a beautiful aspect here, where he's also saying that you are a friend of the asuras, because many times we also need to remember that asuras means the uncomfortable emotions we do have many times. We also need to remember at that time is Bhagavan is illumining that also. Why is that uncomfortable emotions coming up, where Bhagavan is illumining? He is a friend of us always and not our enemy. These uncomfortable emotions, the asuric qualities in us. And when we are when we are in that phase of accepting that everything of me is the divine, all of me is filled with the divine qualities, then we always say that my mind is a friend of mine, my asuri qualities are also a friend. What happens over this beautiful positive affirmations, then those also beautifully sheds off. It sheds. Many times I see people, Prabha, I have so much ego, Prabha. Prabha, I've always like procrastinating. Prabha, I'm so lazy. Prabha, I'm so like this. Prabha, I'm low like this. So I don't know when I'll be like this. I don't know when I'll be like that. So there is so much of negativity observation of ourselves. And that time we can visualize ourselves that Bhagavan, the divine light, is illumining all of that. And because he is a friend of everyone, he is a friend of the Asuric qualities also. And the moment we are feeling that the Asuric qualities in us are illumined, then will there be any place for that? It will be, if there is shift is going to be happening, and we are constantly working, striving towards it. And we get inspired by such beautiful characters like Bali, isn't it? So where we are slowly working towards opening our mind, opening our inner eye of wisdom, where beautifully the intellect connects with the bhavana. That bhavana, intellect is connecting. That connection happens, then the intellect is not saying it is mine, it is you, I only did it, you did not. What will people think? This is all the work of the intellect, work of the ahankara, the ego, all those aspects coming into the picture. It sheds off, completely sheds off. The wisdom rises. The rises that, yeah, I am one with Bhagavan, ananyata, like Raghuramji says. Total ananyata, the feeling of oneness with Bhagavan. No, that's the thing. That's what came up for me. Anything, anything, Aarti, and anyone else also, of course.
So one of the things that is coming up is, like we have heard stories about Lord Shiva, he blesses everybody, isn't it? That's how he is compassionate towards everybody. So what does it actually, whether it's an asura, whether it is a deva, he doesn't differentiate. What it is now, like Aurobindo brings out 14 mind worlds. Okay, 14 mind worlds. It's a and it is also given in many of the Puranic story. You will have this 14 lokas, right? The upper lokas and the local talas, like the Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Tapoloka, Maharloka, and Janaloka, and Brahmaloka. And when we go down, it is Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Patala. Okay, and I missed one. Anyway, so you have all these lokas. So what all these lokas really signify is the mind world, depending upon one's guna of sattva, rajas, and tamas. So the highest lokas will have the most sattvic. And as we come down from the highest, then it becomes a little sattva, rajas, and then, and then it starts moving into rajo sattva. That is, a rajas becomes more and sattva becomes less. And then it becomes rajo tamas and, and then sattva a little bit. And as we go down to the patala, the lowest, the sattva is almost non-existent and the tamo becomes more in such people. So now it is not like these movies, right, where you have these asuras having these, that's just a depiction. I don't know how it even came like that. But we have always looked at this positive, +1, +2, +3, +4 will have -1, -2, -3. Every force has two sides to it just to maintain that equilibrium in a way. So like that, starting from sattva to tamoguna, there are these 14 worlds. But all these, and people operate in these different mind worlds depending upon their sattva, rajas, tamas composition. Some will be in a creative world, like the swargaloka, the apsaras are dancing, and the dancers, they are constantly thinking of a choreography and what is the music and the rhythm, and they're in a very different world. Artists, you talk to them, they're in a very kind of different world. And then there is this logical group, and this logical group and that artistic group cannot really have too much very good conversation. It's very separate. They are very flowy, the artistic people, And then there'll be the tapoloka people who are constantly thinking about, the universe. And so we experience these worlds even in this, as we are in this bhuloka. So now, but even then you have the other people in the tala who are, who have slightly vengeful attitude, or are very stuck in habits and things like that, where the tamas is a little higher as it goes. But what it says is, if there is even a little bit of sattva within you, the guna, the supreme consciousness or God is beyond all this mind world. He's beyond the world, mind. So it is possible for everybody to have access to the God. It is just, that is why we have stories like Valmiki, who turned from a bandit to this. So God is accessible to everybody. It doesn't matter which mind world you are operating in. He's ever merciful. All we have to do is open the doors to him. Like the sun is shining at all point in time. Sun is shining for all equally. Am I closing my doors and windows to him? If the doors and windows are closed, then the sun does not get into my house. If I open the doors, the sun will come. So the Lord is ever shining for everybody. I just have to open my doors to him and windows. Make sure I keep that open so his light is ever shining, and recognize that light that is there. That is the very substratum of my existence. Just some thought. I don't know if it is randomly somewhere it went, but just felt, because this asura and how, because like the sun sees no difference who he shines to. Like that, the supreme consciousness sees no difference. It is shining in the more tamasic stone as well as in the human. It's accessible to, we just have to open our doors and remembering him through singing his praise, in the sense that constant remembrance to bring down the lower self. Again, not to beat ourselves down, but to know that that self is there always, and remembering that self. That's all through the day. We just have to do that. Remember that there is grace. Something's
I
coming
was
up.
thinking of one activity for all. If you all could bring a paper and a pen or something like that, something just struck me now. Please, if you all write, just give you 30 seconds to bring a pen and paper, please. Just Aarti, just close this, no? Once.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Related to this paragraph. It will be nice if you could come on video.
Yes, more people on video,
This is,
please.
we are able to see if
How you're connecting.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you nod your head, we feel connected. When we when we see your face, we feel connected.
if you're okay to use, if you're a tech person, you're okay to use notes in mobile also. It doesn't matter. Okay, that doesn't matter at all. Just have one paper, some rough paper and one pen. And I'm just going to ask you to just sit. Yeah, I hope all of you are ready, right? I hope so, right? Yeah. Some thumbs up, something if you put, it'll be nice. Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you, thank you. Yeah. So just write the sentence, please. Okay, you're welcome to write in your own language if English is uncomfortable. First, visualize that you're able to write, express it also, because that also is important, right? To be able to express what is in me, right? I am afraid of dash. Keep writing, I am afraid of, and write at least whatever is coming up, and keep saying, if I want to share mine, for example, I'm being very open here. I have a fear of losing people who I love dearly. I'm working on that. So we all have some kind of some things, right? So write that I have a fear or I am afraid. So list it, tuck, 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 tuck. Let it just flow. Okay, let it just flow. I'm giving you some time, please. Let Bhagavan just illumine you. Let the divine intelligence, the flow, illumine your mind, and you're able to write it down in a paper. That is very nice. I also will write it. Hope things are coming up. When you keep writing, I am afraid of also beautifully it flows. Okay. Don't do shortcuts.
How many we have to write? As many. Okay.
It is keeping on coming.
No.
Yeah.
I'm done actually after 4
Okay, good, Annapurna. Some of you seem to have done. It's okay. Some of you seeing that the list is going on, then continue today at the night before sleeping. It might really, things are coming up, right? It's good. It comes up like that, right? So why don't we have a quick share? It will be nice to share, right? Because I know when we share, it brings about a kind of a oneness between all of us. It will make us feel connected also. And when we go on to a stage like how Bali was, how beautifully dissolved that fear, it will be very nice for all of us, right? So one by one, but you can share. Annapurna has unmuted already.
Okay.
Please share.
Yeah. I am afraid of the unknown, actually, what comes. Okay. And as you said, losing people. As I'm aging, I'm seeing that, slowly people who are aging, who are not having good health, who are having good health, or also just suddenly going away. That's those things. Losing my ability to remember things. I'm afraid of processing my thoughts, like the way I can analyze right now. I don't know whether I'll be able to do that. And alertness as I age. I think that's it. I mean, I stopped.
Thank you. Thank you, Annapurna. Next person, Manju, would you like to unmute? Manju Gupta?
Ma'am, can I go? I already unmuted.
Okay, Divya. No
Yes,
problem.
first thing I'm afraid of losing my loved ones. And then I'm afraid of heights and depth. I'm afraid of accidents. I'm afraid of death. I'm afraid of my own anger. And I'm also afraid of amphibians and reptiles.
Thank you, Divya. Thank you so much. Manju?
Yeah. One is I'm afraid of darkness, dark, pitch darkness. And second is dependency on old age when people get sick and other things, and we have to depend on others. So I am very much afraid of that. I don't want to be dependent on, especially physically. And third is again losing our near and dear ones and left alone, because I have two daughters and both are abroad. Me and my husband are living here. That's all.
Thank you, Manju. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Since I'm not seeing you, I recognize Tejasvi. Are you willing to unmute? Bharti auntie, Prema ji.
Like I just joined. I don't know what is the discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. What I had told is to put a take.
Can I tell? Can I tell? Prema Natarajan.
Yes, please, Prema ji.
I am afraid of my future. I mean, my health because of my spine problem started after the operation of the leg knee replacement. Because without escort, I can't go out and walk. I need help on both sides, and I lost all of a sudden. I lost my son all of a sudden in month of May. So I am afraid that even my husband and my daughter, nothing should happen to them, and they should be on good health to continue the journey, and they should live with good health. I am afraid of dark. I mean, I am having claustrophobic, so I am to stay in dark room. Of course, I lost my eyesight 2000, one eyesight. Before that also, I used to be afraid of darkness. Now this has increased, this darkness and staying in the dark room. That much only.
Thank you so much, Prema ji, for sharing to us. It feels nice that you're sharing to us these things. Thank you. Loads of love to you. Loads of hugs to you.
Thank you.
Bharti auntie, not heard you for a long time. If you can unmute and speak, auntie, if you can, no, it'll be great. Okay, Jai Shri Venkatachalam, Jayamala Nagesh. Yes, Jayamala.
Namaste, ma'am. I am afraid of not meeting other people's expectations. I don't know whether the expectations are there or not, but I have this inferiority complex that I will not be able to match up, and that keeps me in the background always, like a backbencher. And also, I am afraid of conflict or confrontation. This has been ongoing from a very long time, and I also recognize that I need to be to accept the fact that in life there will always be conflicts. Where there are two people, then there will be conflicts.
Jayamala, just to this, you just mention only the afraids.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Please continue, Jayamala.
Yeah, these both are coming to my mind right now,
Okay.
ma'am.
So because don't go immediately to solutions.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. I have to. No. Only I'm afraid of da 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 like this. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Because
yes.
our mind goes into solutions fast because we see that, oh, I have this problem, I have to get it right. Right? So that sometimes what happens, we become a quick fix person. So it doesn't bring about deep introspection at that time. Okay.
I forgot to add one thing, ma'am. That is, I am afraid of my husband who is very short tempered, irritable, and every now and then his mood is changing. So every day I am thinking how to cope up with him. I mean, how I should make him patient, tolerant, and to lead a happy life. Because when he is making others happy, even he will feel unhappy. That I wanted to tell him, I told him also, but he's not listening.
Thank you, Premaji. We'll discuss.
Yeah.
We will come to how we can beautifully be blessed by the divine in these
Oh,
aspects.
so sweet of you. Thank you.
You can please call me Prabha. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. And Annapurna, Mamta, Vijay. Mamta, I see. Yeah. Would you like to unmute Mamta? No. Rajit, would you like to unmute? It will be wonderful to hear your perspective also. Oh, yes, Annapurna. Yes.
Hello. Basically, what I've seen is what the others have said is all that even I have as fear, Like I have the fear of heights, and yes, I do. I'm afraid of being in a dark room alone. Mm, I'm afraid of some kind of diseases also. Like I've seen my cousin pass away very young due to cancer. So that that I don't know. Probably that brought in a trauma inside me, and of course losing loved ones because I lost both my parents young. So I lost my mom when I was just 20, and dad when I was around 38. So that's that's something that fear is. Of course, they say that with time it does, you do get healed, but I think you just learn to manage rather than I don't think it's healing, it's managing. So, well, that's,
Thank
thanks.
you, Annapurna. Thank you so much.
of course, Prabha, I lost my father when I was 2 years. I lost my mother when I was 14 years. I was brought up by my brothers and babis. So always I am in a fearful mood only. How to cope up, how to satisfy them, how to make them happy. That only I was thinking. My whole life has gone. Now I lost my son.
Thank you,
Sorry.
Prem. You know what? Sometimes always we are all being together here in this platform of Bhagavatam for a divine reason, isn't it? When we hear each other, we feel so connected. When we
Yes.
hear each other's fear, when we are here
Yeah.
to get some solace, thinking that having this fear, and how I need to feel that peace within me by hearing about Bhagavan. And that is the reason we are all here together, right? So when we are sharing
Yes.
like this, it brings about a connection with all of us. Because
Yes.
when you are sharing, others are also able to relate. When somebody else is sharing, maybe somebody else is able to relate. And like Raghuram says, at that time we recognize that oneness, right? That recognition that, see, so many places we are all together having that fear of so many things and not knowing what to do, right? So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Premaji.
But one thing is sure, Prabha, my son is born in this life. I am thinking to take care of me only because he was doing lot of things for me. My son, my husband also told the same thing. And so I led a very happy, I was staying with my son only because my son doesn't want me to stay with short-tempered husband. So I was happy, even though daughter-in-law that much not pleased. But my son won't bother about those things, and he was taking care of me. So, so there also my personality is like that. First, I was pleasing my Barbies and brothers, and then I have wanted to please my daughter-in-law and my son because I am staying with him. Now I lost my son. I am staying with my husband. I don't know how to cope up with him, how to make him happy, how to be that he should be very pious and he should be spiritual and he should be, to take care of us and then to take care of him also. Because when you lose temper, your body will get disturbed. I was telling him, but he is not listening.
Thank you, Premaji. Sure. Thank you for sharing also. I'm sure when you let out, you also will feel a sense of load coming out, right? It's an offload.
Yeah. Thank
Anyone else? Jai Shri ji has unmuted. I see that.
Jai Shitara.
Yes.
I am afraid of going to unknown places and those who are talking too much. And then, of course, loved ones, losing loved ones. That's all.
Thank you, Jai Shri ji. Thank you.
Jai Shitara.
Jai Shri Siyaram. Okay, I suppose nobody else, I suppose, right?
Namaste,
Okay.
Prabhaji.
Yes, Namaste, Raji.
Sorry, I didn't write one single line also. I'm sorry because I am afraid that I didn't write anything that I'm afraid of. Because seriously, I'm not afraid of anything. It seems very strange, but yeah, I'm not afraid. Be it anything, be it mind or anything physical, I'm not afraid. So that's why I didn't write anything. I didn't want to say anything else, but yeah.
No problem, Rajit. When you are not afraid of yourself, and neither you are having any concern about the family
Others.
members or
Yes.
anything. If you feel that peace within you always. Is that so, right? Am I
Yes. There was a time when these things were affecting me, but yeah, I've risen about that is what I feel.
And what did that shift? What happened? How did this shift happen?
Uh, it is a realization that everything, when I start moving within myself, that's when I realize that anything external should not bring in fear within you. That's what I've realized.
Okay.
When I started searching within myself, because when you depend upon external factors, that's when actually the fear factor comes in. But when it is everything is within you, searching within yourself, then I think the fear factor doesn't come in at all.
Beautiful
Yeah.
understanding. All the best to you on your
Yeah. Thank you.
search and also the understanding of yourself, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. And Aarti would like to share from your end. I see you're unmuted also.
There is a there there is a see actually there is no fear of but when I have to go more into the spiritual line, there is a fear. When I think now it's time to dive deeper, there is a fear.
Thank you, Aarti. Thank you.
To add to that, I have I'm afraid of digressing from my in the spiritual journey. I feel that it's a very kind of a disciplined path, and if I deviate from there, I feel digressed. It's like I have missed last satsang, Tuesday satsang, and there's something which holds me, like I said, oh, I missed that. So I don't know if it is called a digression, but yes, I mean, I feel that, I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you, Annapurna. Thank you.
Uh,
I'll share. Yeah, somebody unmute.
Sorry, ma'am. I just wanted to ask, is it okay to feel afraid of not being attached? I know, no. It's literally the opposite of
Means
not being attached. Means not
you
love.
can be scared of, you can be not being loved.
Not being, yeah, attached. Means it's my, okay. Yeah, I think you got it.
Yes. If I'll share it and then I'll just give a small summary and then Aarti also join along with me. If for me, things have come up. As many people also shared that I'm afraid of losing people, of my loved ones, and I'm afraid of them suffering. And I'm afraid that my mom's health might deteriorate, and so many loved ones are there right now I'm living together. So there is a deep kind of a fear. I have a fear of being misunderstood. I see that I kind of get that fear in that way. And I also, somebody shared that I have a fear of conflicts. I get little uncomfortable when conflicts happens. When disharmony happens, I get very uncomfortable. So these are the areas I am sharing for myself. And one thing very beautiful, which I am working on, which I'd like to share is doing the positive affirmation and visualization, because that really helps a lot. Because now, if I just listed out the common fears which many of you seem to be having is fear of uncertainty, right? Fear of what's going to be happening for me or for my family members, fear of conflicts, and also fear of not being loved if I'm myself. If I need to be pleasing others. I need to say yes to others, because if I say no to them, maybe they might not give me that kind of a love and attention or care for me. So that fear of being left alone, fear of being alone or being unloved, fear of and then of course fear of like how Annapurna said, will I get distracted or digress from the path? I'm going in one path and I've put one focus there, and will I go here or there? So that is a kind of a fear that I might start getting some health conditions or lose my memory, It's basically fear of my own health. So that is a kind of a fear which I hear from some of you. So fear, of course, of dark spaces. Dark spaces is what is fear of something which might come up for me, which I might not be able to know how I can take care of it, or fear of I might tumble onto it. So the dark spaces comes from our childhood time. It sometimes even comes from the preconception time also, like what conversations happens between the mother and the father, and all the conversations here, and the child in the womb starts feeling that, oh God, now what am I going to do coming out? Right? So there is a fear of dark spaces. Let me share that just beautifully how I came out of that fear of dark spaces. Actually, today, with very happily, I can share that I have come out of that fear of dark spaces, because I used to have a tremendous amount of fear of dark spaces. I will not be able to sleep alone at all. That was the case for me. It was a tremendous amount of thing. And when I started this visualization and all the beautiful sessions with Raghuramji and so many other mentors I have, one thing which very beautifully came up with one of the meditation session by my mentor is, she guided me to a kind of a meditation visualization, which I'm sure will help many of you, is going to a space where you are uncomfortable. That uncomfortable is dark space, right? A space where you are uncomfortable. And then at that space, what is it uncomfortable when it comes up for me is things are coming up to me and making me feel uncomfortable. So at that time, the mentor told me to visualize something very, very divine. And the image which came up was uh, the Harry Potter style because I'm very visually like that. So the light which beautifully just breaks open the darkness. So the light which breaks open the darkness, and the Harry Potter, some of you would know the Dementors are there, right? The black Dementors, as if the light is just distributing them, and they are just dissolving it. And it's like a wand, the light comes. That was the image which came up to me. And I was practicing that every day when I was lying in the bed. Every day, that visualization, I was practicing it, giving that affirmation that I am illumined. I am that light is beautifully illumining. It is releasing, and it continuous practice. It came up, and even now, I continue to practice that. And I would like to say very happily that I completely got rid of that fear. The fear was not sada fear. It was panic actually for me at that time. So that was way. And now the thing which comes up, of course, of many of you, which says that fear of losing people, right? And this is where things come up for me in some sentences by Narada Bhakti Sutras or somewhere, is many times we need to remember that people also come to us at the right time, at the right space, at the right sequence. Isn't it? Sometimes we tell someone, no, why didn't I meet you earlier? Yeah. We say, right? Why didn't you come to me at that time? Why didn't I follow yoga at that time? Why did I come to know about Bhagavatam right now only? So many things we think about, right? So, but it's important for us to remember that people and events and experiences all happen in a very beautiful sequence for us. When we finally understand that like how Raghuramji says, that jnanam comes, then immediately it dispels the darkness. That dispels the darkness, dispels that fear. That fear that, oh God, now people have come and there is a time that they might leave, right? And yes, there might be discomfort, there will be grief, yes, and we are not going to fight over the grief, right? We are going to accept that the grief will come and go. I will be sad. Yes, it's not that I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to do. There is no not. But we also come to an understanding that yes, they have come and they have given the beautiful experience to us, that connection to us. They have inspired us in some way in their physical form and in their actions. And they have been there for my growth and for my growth in this life. And it's time for them to move on. So when you visualize, like as if the fishes are there coming and going, they don't park for a longer time, right? So you can visualize that. I find it very good because I remember I talking this to Raghuramji also, and he kept telling me that you are caught up in the physical forms of people. Remember that, don't get caught up in the physical forms of people. Just be connected with them from the heart. When you're connecting with the heart, always they are in your heart. They are there in your heart. So when they are there in your heart, the physical form is not present, which might be very difficult. It's very difficult, right? But continuously thinking that they are in my heart. They have inspired me. They motivated me through their own ways of actions. And they continue. And it will not, so visualize their image in your heart. And that he was telling me that, why don't you do that? That kind of a visualization. They're continuously being there. And they are also, it is their life. They need to come and go, like how you are also going to come and go, and your children are going to miss you, your siblings or whomever are going to miss you, but you have come and you're going. And that between life and death, between birth and death is this life. So, and now are you going to be sitting and being afraid that they're going to go, they're going to go, they're going to go? Or are you going to be making sure that, okay, I have this life, I have these people, I'm going to ensure that I spend as much quality time with them and with myself. If I'm worried about myself also, I asked him one question, aren't you scared, aren't you worried that your health might deteriorate? I had asked him once. He said that I'm not at all worried, Prabha. Maybe I might have some health issues. Might not have health issues. Maybe I'll forget you one day. Maybe I'll forget some things. Maybe I'll forget some mantras. I'm just in the flow, Prabha. That sometimes one sentence is so profound, that it dispels that fear. Because what happens with fear is it constricts us. It really constricts. So those who are having whatever kind of a fear, I recommend you, either if you are a person who are into writing, write positive affirmations. You are a person into visualization, do that. You are a person into japas, when you're having put that sankalpa before the japa and then do. So in that way, it will help you. And remember one thing, Annapurna, one thing I remember Raghuramji always telling is, there are no have-tos within the paths. Okay. And sequential path is in the Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga path. Bhakti has no sequential paths. So it is not that I have to do this in the path. One day I might want to watch a movie or go for a dance. It is not a digression. He always says that also is part of your spirituality. I'm sitting with my friends and maybe my friends are having a peg. That time you're not sitting with, oh God, why am I sitting here? I'm digressing. Raghuramji was talking, somebody asked a doubt. I remember that. He said that even at that time, you are in the present, enjoying with them wholeheartedly, present with them and looking at them not because of the drink. Looking at them that I am having an opportunity to connect with them, that oneness needs to come from anywhere. You are standing in a pub also, having apple juice in your hand. He said that is the time maybe you're connecting with the bartender, barman. That becomes your satsang. It's so powerful actually. So any opportunity, even if I'm going out for a trip, that becomes my connection with myself, that I'm going with my family or alone or whatever it is. Everywhere there are no have-tos, no strict sequence. Loosen up and say that everything I'm experiencing it. So these are the things which just came up for me, just out of the blue. Anything, Aarti, it comes up for you, please share.
Just, it's again what Raghuramji wrote once. It is when we don't feel complete within, we look to fill our lacking with something from the outside. Somewhere I am not feeling complete within, and hence I am trying to fill that void through something outside. It's like when I am afraid that I will lose, we are ultimately only selfish beings. Let's totally accept that. When I am saying I am afraid of losing my loved ones, I am saying I am afraid of not being loved anymore. It is all about me only at the end of the day. Okay? If this loved one is not there in my life, it will cut off a part of that love that I am getting from the outside, which is filling that void within and which will not be there anymore because I don't feel the completeness within. But if we just look at ourselves, and the two selves are there, the self with the lacking and the self with the completeness is very much there within us. And for me to know that this self with the lacking is not the real me, that I am by nature complete. And whatever Prabha said is beautiful. Everybody comes in, has come in. We are learners here. They are not there to fill our voids. They are here we are here as co-travelers on a train. We are learning from each other. We are connecting with each other. We are growing. And when the time is over, we have moved on. And I am complete. This can be a great affirmation in a way that I am loved always, with or without. I am actually loved always. But it's very difficult, right? How can I convince myself? I mean, it's like a very positive. Yes, Rajitji.
No, ma'am. Atiji, you go ahead. I'll come in when you're finished.
Yeah. So it is, I am complete. It's but that process is where we know that everybody who is left. I mean, just to bring up, many people are. It's 4 months, and we moved on with my father's this thing. Many people seem to be surprised that we have surprisingly moved on. Not that we don't remember him. Every single thing, every single month, everything that is being done is done with absolute dedication. We remember him fondly. Everything is there, but there is no feeling of not being loved. We feel that love is even more. It's what we focus on. That when he was there, how much that connection was there. We stay with that. The problem is we are in touch with the bodies and we think they are not there with us when we are afraid, right? Two things I want to bring up here. One is this feeling of alone, loving somebody. It is like holding on to somebody because I am not feeling loved. It is like trying to force somebody to fill me up in a way. Okay. So it's no, just let be. I am loved. And the more I share love, when I can, so this is a great way to feel that love within. Instead of saying, am I feeling loved? Am I loved? Let me share my love unconditionally. I will do my bit. And you will see the love just pouring out of you. It can overflow only when it is full. When I can do. It is when I am more self-absorbed. That is when I feel the void. Who is giving me? Instead, if I think more of giving rather than taking, the overflowing comes from a space of fullness. Let me just unconditionally give my love. What I seek from outside, let me give it back. Then I'm full, right? When I start giving up. Two things. One, the other thing I wanted to talk about is the fear of conflict I see is huge. As though conflict is something wrong. Conflict is a space of learning, whether the conflict is with a spouse, whether the conflict is with family members, whether the conflict is with a child. We are constantly trying to avoid conflicts because there is a huge fear of conflict, but conflict can be a game changer for us. It makes us understand each other. It makes me understand myself. It makes me stand up for myself. It makes me own up myself, and it makes me understand the other. And it is a strong ground for connection. If I keep avoiding conflict, I keep suppressing, and I keep saying, okay, let me try to do this. Let me try to adjust. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I will. And I try to do twists and turns to avoid the conflict. And in that whole process, I feel so suffocated sometimes. Conflict can be a space of transformation. It is important not to react, but to come from a space of love even there. But to be true to yourself. I am feeling this. And this is where to be true to. I very strongly feel it can be a great, and it is a very good space for empowerment. That self-empowerment and standing up for yourself, it comes from, and then it can build a lot of confidence if we learn how to handle the conflicts. Yes, Rajitji, I'm done.
Aarti,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, sorry. Somebody else?
Go
No
ahead,
problem.
Rajitji. Go ahead.
You carry on next, then I'll come. No
Okay.
problem.
So I actually wanted to share my own experience on positive affirmations actually. So Divya is there on this call itself. So, but we've been now married for 23 years. But the initial part of our marriage, the first 2, 3 years was a very rough patch, to the extent that we had to uh, meet a counselor. To that extent, it had gone. And that was not the time. That was the time when our son was not born. So there were 3 affirmations which the counselor said, and till date I follow that. Very simple things. One was to say that I love and accept myself exactly the way I am. Exactly the way I am. Those are the words. That is one thing, because slowly when conflict starts, we start hating ourselves more than hating the other person. So this was one confirmation. Next confirmation was I love and accept the other person with whom we are exactly the way he or she is. And the third one was that I forgive that person or forgive myself also if I'm committing this, and release myself to God. These were the three confirmations, affirmations that counselor had told us to do. Both of us were asked to do. I'm not sure how much Divya did, but I regularly did it. And I found a hell of a lot of difference between my status at that. And I was very young that time. We had just got married. We didn't know what married life was all about. But slowly, these confirmations actually helped me not only with the marriage, but with my overall outlook of life. Because this can be applied to everywhere, not just marriage. It can be applied to every situation. So positive, what RPG and was saying about positive affirmations is very important for everybody. That is what I feel. So that's what I wanted to come in that. First of all, loving myself is very important. Loving others is also important, and forgiving the other. Easily said than done, but what happens when you, and this was asked, I was told to do this activity facing the mirror, looking at myself and telling it at least 30 times twice a day, in the morning and at night before going to sleep. And I've been practicing that ever since in various stages. So this actually helps. I don't know whether this will help others or not, but it should help. That's what I feel. And maybe people can start using that as a this to do. I don't know whether Divya agrees with that or I don't know, but I really feel that it has changed my life a lot.
If you feel it
That's
has
what,
helped you, it definitely must have.
yeah.
Rajatji.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
What very beautifully, Rajit, is Louis Hay's philosophy also. I love and accept myself as the way I am. I love and approve of myself. Very beautifully, she tells in front of the mirror, right? So, and repeating, because you know what, looking at the mirror and looking at your eyes and saying that is not easy actually.
Yeah, you cannot lie to yourself
Yeah,
at all.
you look into your soul actually, and you look into your eye and say actually. So it's actually in the beginning, I forgive myself or forgive others might be very difficult for someone to look in the mirror and say. So that is a time when we say, I'm willing to forgive. I'm willing to forgive myself. I'm willing to forgive others. Willing, when you put it, it kind of little bit eases for some people. For you, maybe it came up very easily, but for some it might not. So I just suggest others also, if you want to give those affirmations, are beautiful ones, like you said, 30 times. It's like a pill, 101 pill, like that. It's such a beautiful thing. And I thought I'll let you. Somebody said, right, I'm scared of the other person being angry with me or short-tempered with me. And this is the time when you could just remember that it is not easy to change others. That is, yes. But you know what? With your visualization, you could feel yourself very safe. With your positive affirmations, you could feel yourself very safe. And that is what I would suggest to Premaji or anyone else who feels unsafe. The need of being safe from the other person becomes a topmost priority there, where you can visualize yourself being beautifully in a bubble of divine. You can keep that visualization there or write it in a sentence, in a paper. Write it there saying that I am in a bubble, safe and sound, where I am safe and I am protected. I am divinely protected by the divine. You're always visualizing yourself having that kavacha. I remember my mother-in-law always telling about that. That kavacha is there, and that kavacha is beautifully filled with divine energies. And when you're filled with that, you're putting that kungum or whatever it is, you're telling yourself that visualizing yourself, you can put that circle around yourself, you can do that hand movements, visualizing movements, sankalpa movement, whatever is your personality style, you're telling yourself that, and you visualize it, and you also visualize the other person speaking loving words to you. You can say that I am surrounded with people with loving energies. I'm surrounded with people who share loving words to me. These are the ways when we feel that, like Aarti says, that voidness in us, we fill by ourselves. Nobody else fills our void. We ourselves fill our void, because actually there is no voidness. More and more and more and more you dig deeper, you suddenly come to a realization, actually there is no void. Actually, I'm filled to the brim. I am full. My heart is actually full. It's not the physical heart, but the heart filled with blood. But I'm saying the beautiful heart filled and complete wholeness, all that. In the beginning, I find when I talk to people, they say, I don't feel wholeness. There is full gap only, Prabha. Always there is a hole only, because people are always constantly pecking on me. I find that hole there. From HOLE to WHOLE, it's a process, it's a journey where you go through by giving these affirmations, visualizing it, and also singing the glories of Bhagavan, doing whatever possible way that jnanam you're trying to gain, and also going with that bhakti, that love you're brimming with yourself. So keep loving yourself, keep a beautiful affirmation. Why will you love yourself? Somebody asked me one, why will I love myself, Prabha? That means I'm so self-centered, is it? So, who is in your house? Who is in you? First remember that. The moment that jnanam comes to us, that he's there, he or she, whoever is Ishta Devata, is there within me, then obviously won't we feel that auspiciousness within us. We are all auspicious. Every person is auspicious. When the moment we are auspicious, aren't I complete? Am I not whole? Then am I not safe? Am I not loved? Because I'm loved by the divine. I'm loved by myself. When we are going and with this state, that's what in Narada Bhakti Sutra once, I forgot which sutra, Vivikta Sthana, he says. In that Vivikta Sthana, that is, you are in a seclusion space, that you are in a space where you are in touch with yourself, you fill yourself, you become whole and complete yourself. And after being whole and complete, then you beautifully go and interact with this world. Then your interaction will be always like a celebration, because you are interacting with wholeness. And people can feel that wholeness from them, and it is infectious. That's what Raghuramji says. When you meet a person who feels whole, you automatically feel little bit of that wholeness by yourself also. That is the power of satsanga. That is the thing. Yes, Aarti.
So there are two parts within us. One is the victim and the other is the empowered one. So when I'm saying I am afraid, when I'm saying I'm lacking, when I'm saying I'm feeling something from outside, I am in a victim mode. But in reality, beautifully what Prabha said, if I feel like, the self, that is why our scriptures are so much focused on the aham, and the aham within us. We think Ishta Devata, God is sitting in some Vaikuntha somewhere, but it's all in our own heart. We just have to focus on our own heart and say what we say, that beautiful affirmation that Rajatji said. The biggest problem is two things: a lack of self-love and a lack of self-acceptance. I am seeking acceptance from outside because I have somewhere not accepted myself completely. I am seeking love from outside somewhere because I do not love myself somewhere completely. Right? So these two are the bigger void. This is the root cause. So if I learn to accept myself just as I am, whatever affirmations stand in front of them, I remember I had gone through meditation. I didn't go through any of these sessions. There were lots of self-doubts. I remember I started meditation when my children were very small. And then I joined a school. I have no idea why I did that, but at that time, but it was just coming out. I would say, I am the best. I am the, it would come out like one burst in a class, and somebody, it would just come out like very intuitive. It was like I was just breaking out of a shell suddenly. And I was like, oh, but I am the best. I am this thing. It was not, and it may have seemed to others as though I'm arrogant. I don't know what it was, but it was a very deep. Now that when I think back, it was just me affirming myself without knowing that is what I was doing. Okay, it just, from the meditative process, just brought it out to me. Someday, I would just feel very happy, like I'm the best kind of thing. Okay, but then I would be like, okay, why am I saying this? But it would just come out. But it was a huge healing process for me, even though, and that also got me out of what other people think. and things like that. All of those come from that space of not feeling complete within, and then you're like, what will other people think? What will others say? All that starts playing in the mind. This, when I was doing these things, it didn't seem to bother me what other people. I was like, yeah, people are going to think it. I'm being arrogant, but I don't know. It's just coming, kind of. I was aware that people can, but it didn't bother me. So that is where we want to be. Even the fear that Premaji is saying about her husband, the thing, if at some space we can convert that fear to compassion, it won't bother me anymore. There's some deep vasana there, which they are not able to come out. They are old. They are not coming to these classes, but slowly. It will take time. It will take time, but it will. If
You
we
are
can,
right. That only now I am doing
yes,
slowly
yes, yes.
because I thought that is the only way,
Hmm.
this will change. And from
Yeah.
the childhood itself, I was not getting any love, no parents' love, and then brothers. Then now it's like that. But for me, no, Aarti, I didn't feel that I should be loved by these people, that people. I was giving love.
Yes.
That was my motive. Really, my entire life, I was doing that only. I am not expecting. But let it is continuing like that. Let it continue.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back from that.
I just wanted to add one thing, Aarti, that today morning we concluded the Ishavasya, and Raghuramji was beautifully, it started with that, attachment and detachment, and he says that you have to go. I mean, we are always talking about getting detached from somebody. He was so beautifully, he emphasized on non-attachment. It was so profound that we have to practice that non-attachment, even to ourselves, and which only comes when you see ourselves or everything in a sakshi bhav, and then be able to see that, yeah, like you always say, that it is the Lord who is in front of us. He is doing it before we even think of it, actually.
That's right.
Prabhaji, I am not getting visualization what to do because my son is a spiritual healer. And then, even though he was running a company, software company, he was into spiritual in so many things. So he used to tell me visualization, do mummy, and he bought me a book also, but it's not coming.
No, Premaji, I am not a visualizing person. I am
Okay.
a very verbal person. For me,
Yeah.
Yeah,
words work better than visual. Some of them, they're more emotional, very emotional people, usually visualization. It's typically like that.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's okay.
Mm,
There's nothing
okay,
wrong
Yeah.
with that.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why I said no visualization, japa. So many different personalities
That's
are
why
there.
so many different paths
Writing,
also
so many
being
different
given.
paths are there, right? So you could write. Some people are beautiful writers. They write. Instead of visualizing, they write beautifully. So you can see whatever comes for you. Okay. Thank you so much. I think it's 10
I
as
think it's
7:40.
time. I
Yes.
also have
Yeah,
guests. We will move on. But it was a good session. I think this kind of
excellent section.
internal healing. Thank you, Prabha, for bringing
Yeah.
it.
Thank you.
ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ
Hari Om, Aarti. Hari Om, Prabha.
Thank
हरि
you, everyone. Thank you.
Om,
Thank you. A
everyone.
beautiful
Yeah.
session for all of you. Thank
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.